All right, I thought this could be a fun idea for more of a general thoughts type video. I like to do lists on this channel. This could be a fun list. I'm ranking the rookie quarterbacks based on, as an upcoming rookie quarterbacks, based on how good of a season I am expecting they will have in year one. This is not how good of a career I think they will have. If that was, I would change it. It's not how good of prospects do I think they are. Simply just what do I expect year one. So definitely taking into account situation. I guess maybe a good way to describe it is like, who do I think will have the best passer rating out of these five guys? Not exactly, because I am including running plays and stuff too, but that kind of mindset. Yeah, let's just get into the list. I should mention real quick though, no Michael Penix, of course, because he is not projected to start. Same reason why none of the quarterbacks who didn't go in round one will not be mentioned, because they are not projected to start. So only the 5 quarterbacks that were drafted in the top 12 that are not Michael Penix will be talked about here. But yeah, let's just get into it. Number 5, I am going Bo Nix, which might seem disrespectful, but again, he was the last quarterback selected, so out of these ones we're talking about, so it makes sense. I also just don't know if I love the situation he's going into. Don't get me wrong, Sean Payton, I'm sure, will help him out a lot, and that's very good. But you look at the receiving core, they did add Troy Franklin, who, I didn't love him when people were talking about him going like early second round, but I still like him enough as a player. They have chemistry. I think that should help. Guys like Josh Reynolds, Marvin Mims, Lil Jordan Humphrey, and Brandon Johnson, I'm not sure how much they're moving the needle. I do like Courtland Sutton for what he is. So it's not like it's the worst receiving core in the world, but it's certainly not the best. Maybe you get something out of Tim Patrick. I hope. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome if he could play well again, because he's a good player when healthy. But as a whole, I'm not in love with this receiving core. Offensive line solid, but it's the receiving core I think is really important for young quarterbacks. Don't love it. On top of Bo Nix just not being my favorite prospect in general, it's why he's going to be at number 5 on the list. Number 4, I am going with Drake May, the quarterback for the New England Patriots now, who was drafted 3rd overall. He was actually number 2 on my board. So he's my second favorite quarterback. So like I said, if it was who I think is going to have the best career, it's a different list than who I think will have the best first season. It's just a situation. I don't love this situation for the Patriots. They did address it. They added a couple of receivers, which I'm interested. They drafted a couple of receivers, Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. So hopefully it's a better situation than to have kind of a bunch of flyers like Kendrick Bourne's shown flashes, but not recently. Jalen Reagor, hey, maybe you can finally put it all together. I wouldn't bank on it. I like KJ Osborne as like a 4, and honestly, Demario Douglas showed some real flashes last year. So again, there's guys, for sure there's guys, but just how consistently can you get them open is my concern. There's a lot of projection. I like Hunter Henry a decent amount. I think that's good, but as a whole, there's some concerns. I also don't think this offensive line is fully complete either, so there's some issues that way. And it's not like Patriots. I don't know what to make of this new coaching staff either, so that's confusing. That being said, I still put him above Bo Nix just because I think he's a better prospect than Bo Nix, and him just being a good prospect in general. I wouldn't be shocked to see him kind of figure some of this stuff out, but I also think that he's a bit of a projection as a prospect on top of it. So the fact that I think he's a bit of someone who might take a little bit of time to develop, along with not being in a perfect situation, that's going to put him at 4, but I do think that he will eventually get it all together. Just think it'll take some time. Number 3, I am going with J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. They drafted at pick 10. Really good situation for him, certainly. I mean, obviously, Justin Jefferson him alone is a great situation. Just adding him to the list. You also have Jordan Addison, who is very good. So you have some, real wide receiver talent that you're going to here, not to mention TJ Hawkinson. That's a really good 1, 2, 3 options here for McCarthy. I think the offensive line is solid. I definitely think there's, it's a pretty good offensive line on top of it. So that's a really good situation. Not to mention, I think I would say a good head coach, a good offensive-minded head coach. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to really sit here and say there's too much bad about the situation. Now, again, I think he is someone who might be a bit more of a developmental guy, right? I think that's fair to say. He is 21. He's a younger player. So I think that kind of hurts it a little bit, but there's still enough here that I'm willing to bet he has a pretty solid rookie year. Number 2, I'm actually going Jaden Daniels, who wasn't my favorite prospect. Out of these 5, he was actually number 4 on my quarterback prospect list. I was a little lower on him than most, although there's a lot of things I like about him. Again, part of my concern of him is my concern of him as a player in general. I am worried he could get hurt. He is a skinny guy who loves to get hit by bigger guys, so I'm concerned about how that's going to work. But for someone like Daniels, I do think that the running ability is going to make things easier. It's going to make the transition easier. We see this all the time where guys who can move usually end up having better years than guys who can't. So that's part of why I like him better. I also just think he's better at running an offense right now than the other guys. I think Bo Nix was, I would say, just as good, but it was a lot easier for him to run the offense. Granted, LSU guys were getting open pretty easily. It wasn't like he was doing rocket science out there, but was still doing a lot of really smart things. I think this is a solid situation. I don't think it's as good as J.J. McCarthy's situation, but, I think the offensive line's actually all right. It's just that when Sam Howell holds onto the ball for a million years, you're going to get sacks. I think that was more of an issue than the line struggling to block. Receiving core could be a little better for sure. I think, we'll see what Jahan Dotson does. Terry McLaurin's very good, so they have some options. It's not like it's New England's out there, but maybe could have a little bit more depth is probably a fair critique. Brian Robinson's a good running back as well, which could help out with the run, the way Daniels might rush the football and stuff. I'm expecting him to have a pretty good rookie year, although I do worry about the injuries. That's definitely something that, hopefully he protects himself. That if I was coaching in Washington, that would be priority number 1. Make sure he learns to slide and slides often. But number 1 is Caleb Williams for 2 reasons. 1, I just think he's the best prospect. I think he's the most NFL-ready prospect, despite being just 22. I think what he can do with his pocket presence should really help out. There will be some adjustments and some issues into year 1. I do think the fact that he basically has never seen a throw he can't make could be an issue for sure. But the nice thing is there's going to be some of these throws that work out with guys like DJ Moore, Romeo Odunze, and Keenan Allen could end up being the best receiving core in football. That's not a crazy take. If Odunze plays like a number 1 receiver, Moore's a number 1 receiver, Keenan Allen's a number 1 receiver. Maybe none of those 3 guys will be, Julio Jones out there, but they should still be really solid options. So the situation is really good. Not to mention Cole Kmet and even Gerald Everett, really good for receiving tight end. The receiving options are great. They just are. Now, offensive line could maybe use some bolstering. They did draft some guys like Kyrian A. I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name, but they did draft some guys to hopefully help that out a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. But it's not a disaster either, I don't think. So yeah, all those put together, he is my pick for who I think will have the best rookie year. But that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.